right, good afternoon. How many of y'all were here when Dr. Walkward was saying about sitting in the front? Just don't, by guilt. But listen, I can come to you and I can make it real awkward, or y'all can come to me. We can, be in this together. I would suggest y'all come to me. We're going to have a very interactive session. You can bring your food with you, because then I feel like I'm just talking to my kids. If you don't mind. Okay, or not? Y'all gonna stay where you are? Okay, I'm gonna come to you. All right, okay, so my name is Jessica Harris, aka Auntie Jess, and we're actually gonna start with a body scan. How many of you guys know what a body scan is? I'm probably making this hard for the AV people. I'm so sorry. Y'all didn't come to me, so I gotta come to y'all. How many of y'all know what a body scan is? Just a few people. So good, this will be new information. So a body scan is a way just to check in with yourself, check in with how you're feeling, check in with just body sensations. Yes, if y'all want to move, I would love it, because I'm making it probably hard for the AV people to move with their cameras. So this is going to be like a 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Usually you're supposed to be sitting down and like calm, but we'll actually use that for y'all to like hustle forward. But just so you guys can hear it, body scans are a great way just like to check in. I've been running around, as you've probably seen me all day, so I also need this, but I wanted to start this off for this session. So if you can move forward, join me forward, and then we're gonna be listening to this body scan. So for y'all that are forward, if you want to just sit facing forward, close your eyes if you feel comfortable, put your feet directly on the ground, just get as relaxed as possible as you can, and then we'll be ready to go ahead and play.
Begin by bringing your attention into your body. You can close your eyes if that's comfortable to you. You can notice your body seated, wherever you're seated.
Can you give me some water? Uh-oh, sorry. I'm sorry. I accidentally.
Begin by bringing your attention into your body. You can close your eyes if that's comfortable to you. You can notice your body seated, wherever you're seated, feeling the weight of your body on the chair, on the floor. You can take a few deep breaths. And as you take a deep breath, bring in more oxygen, enlivening the body. And as you exhale, have a sense of relaxing more deeply. You can notice your feet on the floor. Notice the sensations of your feet touching the floor, the weight and pressure, vibration, heat. You can notice your legs against the chair, pressure, pulsing, heaviness, lightness. Notice your back against the chair. Bring your attention into your stomach area. If your stomach is tense or tight, let it soften. Take a breath. Notice your hands. Are your hands tense or tight? See if you can allow them to soften. Notice your arms. Feel any sensations in your arms. Let your shoulders be soft. Notice your neck and throat. Let them be soft. Relax. Soften your jaw. Let your face and facial muscles be soft. Then notice your whole body present. Take one more breath. Be aware of your whole body as best you can. Take a breath, and then when you're ready, you can open your eyes.
All right. If you can give me with your hand numbers on a scale of 1 to 5, how relaxing was that? 5, that was really relaxing. 1, it was like I couldn't get into it. Okay, so 4, see some 4s. Okay, so I just jumped into that mainly selfishly to center myself, but also give an example of some mindfulness that we can do. That was like 2.5 minutes. If you're just having a really stressful day, just taking a pause and just checking in with yourself, it feels good. No matter how many times I played this and no matter how many times I do it, every time they say relax your jaw, I don't realize how tense my jaw is until like someone's telling me to relax it. So I'll formally introduce myself. My name is Jessica Harris. My students dearly call me Auntie Jess. I'm an astrophysicist by training who's done education and public outreach, and now I own my own consulting firm, getting to do this for a living. So I consult with outreach, diversity, equity, inclusion, and then my Auntie Jess mentoring. So you may not have seen my minions running around. They're AKA my children. So yeah. We're gonna jump in, and anytime I have a session, I always do this. I always invoke my Auntie Jess safe space. I deem it to be a safe space. We're gonna read some terms of engagement. If you're sitting here and you stay sitting here, I'm assuming you're agreeing with these conditions, okay? Okay, so how many of y'all know, I'm sorry, because I do this often, I just wanna check in. How many of you guys know what a safe space is? Let's show of hands. How many of you guys have heard of brave space? Okay, so a brave space is similar to a safe space. The difference is we want to be brave to show up as ourselves. We want to be brave to be able to ask questions, and we want to hold a space with one another, right? So, I mean, we're talking about mental health. I would love to hear a lot of questions from you guys. So the freedom to be able to speak and be bold is that braveness. Okay, so we're going to agree to be present, embrace being uncomfortable. Like, I know you guys are just coming in, you're eating lunch, and I'm making you guys do a body scan. May make you feel a little uncomfortable, but stay with me. Share the air when we have questions. If you do say something, use I statements, intent versus impact. I always just love to share this. Sometimes when we're sharing things, there's an impact. If my daughter finally came up to me and kicked me, there's an impact to that, regardless of her intention. Maybe she's trying to get my attention. I don't know. So we're mindful of that, both and rule. Sometimes when we're talking, we negate people by saying, but this. No, it's and. You're telling me something, Ed, and it can be an and statement. Okay, this is, I'm not trying not to do my Auntie Jess soapbox on this. I feel like in our culture today, we do a lot of calling out. Okay, feel ways about that. I think some people need to be called out, but in this space, we're gonna call in. We're not gonna be judgmental. We're not gonna throw shade at each other. We're gonna call each other in. So be inquisitive. You're at tables and I'm saying something, turn to your neighbor and ask them, but don't give like, girl, why you just ask me that kind of thing, okay? Again, using I statements. So Vegas rule, this is being recorded, so some of it won't be a Vegas rule, but in general, if there are personal stories, depending on what we're doing, we can potentially cut it out later. But if we're sharing something, that stays here. There's certain personal questions that stays here. And I always say, if you learn something, please share that out with other people, okay? And the last is, share out what you've learned. And then use the spaces you need. This is lunchtime. I know y'all are eating. I made y'all move forward. But if y'all need to like walk around, you need to lay down, take a nap, I got you. It's all good. Use the space as you need. And then set an intention. I want to do just like 10 seconds. How many of y'all know what setting an intention means? Just like putting a focus from this. You guys came here for a reason, right? Like maybe you wanted to learn something. So set that intention in the forefront of your mind. I'll give you 10 seconds to set your intention. All right, y'all got your intention? Forefront of your mind? Okay.
Begin.
No, not her. Okay, so we're physicists. We like data. I'm not gonna bore y'all with data, but I think it's important to kind of set the stage. So lots of information, but just wanting to share that mental health is really impactful to students at your age. And a third of graduate students experience severe mental health issues. So in this data, I'm going to tell you guys my ending point in all of this is just to share, like, it's needed. And I know sometimes as scientists, the data is always important. It tells us a lot of information, but sometimes the data misses that, like, it's you and I. So I'm forcing you guys today to get out of our heads a little bit and into our hearts. So when we think about a third of graduate students, how many graduate students are in here? It's potential that someone in this room is working through some challenges of mental health. So it's a us thing. How many of y'all have had a difficult advisor? I know I have. How many of y'all struggle with money? I was broke, so broke. It's stressful. And that can impede our mental health very severely. And this is a really sad statistic, but the second cause of death in college students is death by suicide. So, as Auntie Jess, I've set on a mission, and I'll go like my action statements, but I'm wanting to bring mental health more into our space. Ability to have the conversation, ability to come to me. I'm now an ally. You can come to me, can talk to me. But I want to share these statistics to let you know that this is happening regardless if we know it or not, but just to put it in the forefront of our minds. And it's actually really hard to find data specifically on mental health in Blacks within physics and astronomy. I should get paid to do that one day. So these are like broad students in general. Don't ask me about specifics about physics and astronomy. I haven't found it. If someone knows that, please send it to me. And so just breaking down our population in the United States, there's 13.4% Black and brown students, are Black and brown people. And of that, 16% are experiencing mental health issues per year. That's 7 million people that are experiencing mental health. And then the last is college administrators, which I was one, report one of the biggest things that they're dealing with students is mental health challenges. I witnessed that being at the University of Virginia. A lot of the concerns that I had with students was related to mental health and financial aid, actually. Those are the top two things I heard very often. Okay, and so I am a mental health first aid aider and a mental health first aid instructor, meaning I can teach y'all to become a mental health first aider. So this is some data from the National Council of Mental Health. 88% of college students report that their school life is stressful. Come on, y'all are physicists. How is it stressful? Is anybody else in the room? It's stressful. E&M stressing you out. Thermodynamics stressing you out. Quantum dynamics stressing you out. Stress me out. 60% of college students met the criteria, again, for mental health. So some of us may be in the room. And half of freshmen to juniors meet the criteria for at least substance abuse, right? So when we're talking about, and especially when we talk about mental health first aid training that I do, we talk about the mental challenges, but also the substance use challenges. And thank y'all for moving up. It allows me just to like see y'all beautiful places. So I have deemed a term that I'm calling external factors. Meaning there are things that we want to treat. Remember y'all were learning when you were looking at an object moving, you have to keep it as a fixed, depending on your point of view, it may be different. Anyways, this is what I'm trying to do here. So external factors are things that like we want to change, right? We want to change systemic racism. We want to make it more inclusive. We want a lot of things, but there's a lot of things that we're not, oh, that Shuki, the slide is not there. Okay, well, I don't know where it went to. It's probably somewhere in my slide deck, but external factors can be, racism, sexism, all the isms often we experience as minority students that are external factors. Like, yes, we want to change them in our schools, in our local, at our state, and our national, but they're changing slowly on slow scales. Like I can't wish a magic wand and make it all better. So we're going to treat that as a fixed factor. So some of those, for example, are microaggressions. And this is one of my favorite articles. If you know me, I talk about this article all the time. I love the article because it breaks down the different types of microaggressions. So how many of y'all heard of a micro assault? Then there's micro invalidation and micro insult. How many of y'all heard of a micro invalidation? Right? You're telling your advisor and someone like, this has happened to me. I'm the only one in my class because I'm Black or I'm a female that's happening to, and they're like, no, but Johnny he didn't mean it that way. Johnny did mean it that way, and don't invalidate my feelings. And so again, this is external pressures that we're feeling as students. as professionals. Racial battle fatigue. This was coined in 2008, but it's all of that, especially if we're marginalized in some way. We're feeling all this pressure all the time, and it gets tiring. I don't know about you, I'm tired. Tired of the news, tired of us, like just tired of all the things. I'm tired of it. But it literally has a physical effect on us. So when people just like, oh, just girl, get over it. No, I'm gonna tell y'all as your auntie, y'all will probably be one of the first or the only in the programs y'all go into. When you get a job, first and only, because that's how it was for me. It is getting better, but it's more likely you're gonna be one of a few in your whole university, your whole department, NASA. I know some NASA, I'm not picking on NASA, I'm just saying. You may be the only one in your specific division that looks like you. That tolls on you after a while. Okay, there it goes. My slide finally showed up. So systematic racism, sexism, racism, microaggressions, the emotional labor, men and women, this applies to y'all. How many of you emotional labor? I'm worried about how I'm saying something. I literally was worried about telling y'all to come up because I'm like, are they gonna be mad at me? Are they gonna be angry at me? I'm being bossy, right? Because those would be things that people can say to me as a Black woman. She's angry, I am angry, but for all good reasons. Toxic environments in STEM. How many of y'all have witnessed or experienced toxic environments in STEM? Am I by myself? It's way. Economic and social constructs, we told you guys about that, and limited funding. Okay, so again, we're treating external factors relatively fixed. It's gonna take a lot of time and energy to fix them. We're not losing hope that they can be fixed, but we're treating them, we're identifying them and holding them to be true. So what I'm proposing is that we need to build up within ourselves an internal force. Now hear me out. I'm not talking about telling you as Black and brown, beautiful people, just to like build up your confidence. Just believe that you're a good person. That's not what I'm talking about. Like, that's helpful. But when we're talking about external factors, we can't talk about dealing with our issues when we can't talk about, no, I actually experienced a racism and my thesis advisor is just being horrible to me because I'm a female or because I'm Black or because I'm Hispanic, right? We can't address our mental health issues when that's not at the center, because I don't want to hear what you have to say. I am stressed. I may be depressed, but my factors, and I actually want to be in this field. I want to share a quick story. A couple years ago, before I launched fully in Auntie Jess, I'm trying not to cry, I almost left. I was tired of being underneath my table crying. I was tired of going to the bathroom crying. I was tired of pushing the systems that I was in, being the only one. Something as simple as saying, our students need professional development. How many of y'all are giving a talk today or a poster presentation? Just a few in the room. But how many of y'all in general have given a presentation or a poster, presented somewhere? Wouldn't it be helpful if someone can tell you and coach you how to do that? What is the poster supposed to look like? What is the presentation supposed to look like? What are some questions that I can anticipate that people would give me? Call Auntie Jess, I got you. But I've had organizations tell me, that's not important. That's one thing, but over my thing, what I'm trying to say with Auntie Jess, that's not important. We gotta focus on the science. But we as people are doing the science. And I'm talking to my elders. I don't mean elder because y'all are age in any way. I just mean like our senior people in the room. So with all due respect, how many of us got into leadership and they actually had a leadership course? How many leaders do we have in the room? Let's go there. Okay, now let me ask the question. How many of y'all had a leadership course before you got into your leadership position? Oh, no. Bam, my point. We get to be scientists, we get our PhDs, that's all great and wonderful. Y'all are awesome out here killing it. Y'all become a PI of a project and you have to learn how to manage millions of dollars. You're now managing personalities, behaviors of staff, and ain't nobody prepared you for it. Professional development, social skills we need to learn within our field. Okay, so that's what so in general, when I talk about internal forces that we can build up, that's what I'm talking about, being able to push back the system. So the way I'm defining is the ability to change immediate factors within one's control. So yeah, part of that self-esteem, self-awareness, confidence, control of emotions and thoughts. And I guess what I just added there is also focusing on the what right now, right? So when I was telling y'all this story, I almost left the field. Part of it was just like tired, the fatigue, tired of finding this sense of tired of being the only one, doing this for so long and just not feeling any gratitude for it. And then I put my energy in Auntie Jess, and Auntie Jess was born, and I got to love into that and pour into that. It took a lot of time and energy, and what I learned was why I ended up creating Auntie Jess is because it was my immediate response. I can easily help y'all to put PowerPoint presentations together. I love doing it, actually. I can sit and talk with you about how you're feeling. I just saw a student in the hallway earlier who is in crisis. In crisis, something was happening, graduate school, needed to actually switch to a different program. We talked, trying to help them. I'm not in the field, so I did my best to help them. And I literally stopped towards the end of our conversation, and I just said, like, have you eaten? Like, you're transitioning, but like, do you have a roof over your head? Like, you have food in your refrigerator? And like, he paused. And he was like, I've talked to several people about my problem and no one's ever asked me that. And he just was sharing with me like the impact that had on him. So like those things matter. Like how do you say it? The hierarchy of needs. What's it called? Maslow's, I can never get that right. Maslow's hierarchy of needs. One of them is like food, shelter over your head, but we don't talk about that in STEM, right? You just gotta get it done. Get the research done. But we're humans again, right? Okay, so so this is just a quick example of if you guys have experienced racial trauma. The red is not displaying very well. So I'll just give some examples that's showing, so that immediate need, sometimes when we're experiencing trauma and sometimes when we're trying to change the systems that we're in, it can feel really fatiguing. It can feel like you're not making any progress. And one thing that I've done to kind of have a more immediate is to do, thank you, you must have needed some water. That's my baby girl. Give Claire a hand clap. And she tricked me, it's not water. So what I ended up doing during that transition, when I wasn't sure what I wanted to do next, is I ended up becoming, actually, you have to get appointed by city council, but ended up serving on the Human Rights Commission in our city of Charlottesville. Now I'm chair for 2 years. I don't know how that happened, but I feel fortunate. So like I wasn't able to do it at the university or the organization I was to some level, but now I get to do it as a city level, and I feel good about that. So and I'm happy to share for anyone who wants these slides afterwards. I'm kind of zooming through them, but these are like immediate things we can do. Maybe we can't change them in our department right now, but there are things that we can do. We can engage in social justice. We can connect to community. So that's what I just evoked on y'all. I'm now y'all official auntie, so you're welcome, thank you. And y'all are my family. So we're in this together. So finding community, literally, most of the time I'm having conversations with students is them telling me what's going on, and I'm just holding space with them. Just saying, I believe you. I believe you're experiencing racial trauma. I believe you're experiencing sexism. I believe that you're being ignored. So what I wanted to share is, I'm so fortunate to be where I am. I'm so fortunate to be Auntie Jess. Like, I don't throw that out in a glorified way. I throw that out very like humbly. I believe in family. I believe it takes all of us as community to get it together. And what I want to share is their stories, right? So I started out with data, right? The data is really important. I could have spent this whole presentation talking to you about the data, but I didn't, because I wanted to make it a story. So when we're talking about mental health and needing to address it in our students, I'm telling you it's happening now. I'm telling you it's happening to the people that are talking to me, the people that I meet at the conference, people that I personally mentor, the people that I passively mentor, like the stories that I hear. And sometimes it's unfortunate, like I'm 15, so many years in this game, and it's the same story. And so I hold that sacredly, but I just want to say for those that can make changes in the organization, think about centering the mental health of your staff members. Right now, for students, centering your own, because no one else is going to be able to provide this for you but you. So center yourselves. It's really important. So my call to action is, for those that can, how many in the room are over 18 or older? Okay, so all of y'all in the room can be mental health first aiders. This is the link. Again, it's probably hard to see, but it's bit.ly at adult mental MHFA waiting list. I will be doing a course next month, and I'm gonna be doing it on a regular period of time. If you're a student, money's an issue, just reach out to me. I just want to get this trained as much as possible. What I love about this training, it's a national program. So I'm an instructor. There's instructors all over the world. You may have noticed, like, I care a lot about mental health. I care a lot about Black and brown students, because it's us. that are mostly being affected. But what I love about this course is a national course. So if you take it with me or take it with someone else, it's all the same. But what you learn are all these techniques. What do you do if one of your colleagues comes to you today, one of a peer comes to you and like having a panic attack? Would you be prepared of what to do? I just told you the highest number of reasons for death within students is death by suicide. If someone, can you recognize the signs? And what we learn as being a mental health first aiders, we are the first sign, literally like first line of defense. We can recognize it, we can help and support. And I'm not putting the students particularly on advance, but there was a student in crisis last conference last year, and me being here to kick in my mental health was able to support that student. And I want to give a shout out to, I'll give a shout out in just a second. So I have a pledge for Auntie Jess pledge is that we'll commit to do no more harm. We'll commit to being an anti-racist. We'll commit to being a true ally. We'll commit to the hard work of self-reflection. We'll commit every day to make STEM a better place because it takes all of us to do that. And we'll commit to believing in STEM family that we can express, we can share each other's experiences. So that, if you need, again, I can share it with y'all later. And I wanted to thank NSBP, like from that experience, being able to support that student, they saw what they believed in me, and they actually supported and sponsored me to be an instructor. So kudos to NSBP, let's give them a hand clap for that. So y'all are always going to be the first people that I want to reach out to. So please get on the waiting list. I want you guys to be trained so that we can be able to impact our community. So the first people actually trained as instructor were 5 of the NSBP board members. So they are now certified. Here's some free things. You know, I did some meditation with y'all. And you're like, Auntie Jess, I want some stuff right now today. I'm stressed. Gratitude app. I love this. I actually set up this practice when I was in, thank you. When I was in, during COVID, we were all in COVID, right? During COVID, my kids were a lot younger than they are. They were like kindergarten and yet it was a lot going on. And so I had to find something to do. And mine was like finding 3 things every day to be grateful for. And literally, y'all, sometimes it was like, I got up this morning, I had some water, I ate. My kids smiled at me. My kids gave me hugs for a long time. But I just said that practice is free. Insight Timer, that meditation was not through that, but Insight Timer does have body scans. They have quick, 2, 3, 5-minute ones, and they have like 30-minute ones to hour ones. I love it. If you're ever trying to build a practice of self-reflection, being able to have someone guide you through, like we just did today, can be really helpful. The Calm app, I was able to get a deal with mine with the Amex card, so it does cost, but I like it. Claire I don't know if she's here anymore, but my daughter literally will play the Calm app every night before she goes to sleep. Like that's her thing that she does every day. And again, if you're in crisis today, I just want to say, I'm here. If you're at your universities, please do not suffer in silence. Reach out to some people. If you're professionals, reach out to your employee assistance programs. They can support you. I literally got some life-changing therapy going through the employee assistance program has really changed my life. So I do want to leave time for questions. I want you guys to walk away with this question. Just kind of put it in the back of your mind. What is something you need today? Like what I need today is a lot more sleep. But what do you need more of today? It may be peace, it may be calm, whatever it is, think about that, what you might want to need. So here's that call to action. I wrote a blog post about it. So if you want to fully read that, that's there. And is it possible to do a mic to ask questions? Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't ask y'all that before. Anyone have any questions before me? But that's my presentation, and thank you. Any questions? Yes, Charles. Thank you. Thank you, sorry, you're my runner.
Thank you, Auntie Jess, for that. One of the reasons, I came to your presentation is because I was hoping maybe you can help me understand like what the word mental health does mean, and just kind of expound on what that is, and what does it mean to have a healthy mental health, and what are some signs that you aren't in a good space as well? Because sometimes we can get caught up in our lives and, like you said, forget about the idea of, did I have lunch? Did I have dinner? Did I, did I take a shower? Well, did I take a shower today?
Listen, during COVID, don't ask about that.
I had a situation like last week, and it wasn't mental, but doing so much that someone had asked me what I wanted for lunch and I completely blanked. I could process, 20 other things going on,
Yeah.
but I couldn't figure out what I needed. And it was like, oh, maybe I need to take a pause and figure that out. So I was wondering if you could explain.
Yeah, that's a great question. Thank you, Charles, for your question. Will you help me? I think we have time for more. So that's a great question. This is something we do cover in mental health first aid course, not to just keep selling that, but yes, I'm gonna keep selling it to y'all because it's really important. But mental health is your overall mental, your being. Like, is it healthy? Is it good? Is it well? And so what we learn in our mental health first aid is like early signs of someone that's struggling with mental health. So something that there's things that you observe, and there's like physical things that you can see, right? Or I'm sorry, there's physical things you can see, and then there's things that someone are saying to you that you can indicate. So if someone went from, Charles, I know your personality, you're very buoyant, you're very bright, but if suddenly like you weren't in this nice suit, and you went from like dressing nicely to like your socks are constantly messy, like you're just overall like physical demeanor was going down. You went from being very cheery to just like the walls are closing in on me. I don't have any hope. It's never going to get better. So that's something we do learn within our course. And so, yeah, I wish I could spend so much more time telling you kind of the signs, but that is something that we learned. There was like a last part to your question.
Oh, it was just that is, how do you identify the signs? And then even how do you know that
how do you know?
You're existing within that healthiness?
Gotcha. So the healthiness question. So the reason why I encourage you guys to do body scans or check in with yourself, because you know yourself better than anyone else. So when you sit, one of the things I would ask to check in with yourself are things like that. Like literally, did I eat today? Did I drink water? I'm not judging nobody, but how many of y'all drank some water today? Like not enough maybe, y'all just ate. But just checking in, and what are changes? Is your mood changing? Is your diet changing? Because I know busyness actually in us as women and as Black people, that actually can be a sign of not healthy mental health. We're so busy going, that we're not eating, we're not drinking, we're not sleeping. So that can be signs. So I would say the way you can recognize the signs is kind of initially checking with yourself, and also like your community. Get your community to call you in and be like, what's up? What's going on? They may also be able to identify that. I think we have time, maybe one more question, if it's quick. Right here.
I would love to hear more about your business and how it's structured, and if you're hiring.
I'm not hiring yet. Come on, somebody. But I will be. It's consulting. So in the short, I do one-on-one with individuals. I do mentoring one-on-one. I also do group mentoring. So I have some mentees that are actually here that I do a group mentoring at Stanford University. So that's like the Auntie Jess. And then I do training. So often when I'm doing the outreach or diversity, equity, inclusion, it's training. I'd love to share with you my contact information. But thank y'all. We have like literally 4 minutes to get to. So this, I'm kind of doing all the things for my session, which is kind of funny. So housekeeping, just a little bit. This is the room that we're gonna be streaming the Big Science Hour in the welcome at ORNL, Oak Ridge National Laboratory. So that's in here. It's in 4 minutes. I don't know if we're gonna start in time, but I wanna let y'all go. I'm here if you have further questions. I'm here if you want to have my contact information. But thank y'all for listening, and thank y'all for showing up. Like, thank y'all for showing up to hear such an important topic. So applause to y'all.